to go live. It's not quite there yet.
How is the reception in here? I'm under Bruce Fairbanks. Is it better?
You sound
You're
fine.
louder.
Yeah, you don't have a video, but you sound fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to switch. I'm Bruce Fairbanks, and he's going to go to the other computer. Okay. God. Okay. John, you have to make me co-host under Bruce Fairbanks. I'll change.
Okay. Yes, that's fine.
Welcome to the board, Bruce.
Yeah, well, I muted him. So there, Bruce.
That'll teach you.
I think he heard that.
Okay, we're being recorded. I think we let everybody in.
Are we going to get video from Jan?
I think I already did.
Yes. Yes.
You should be co-host.
She's working on it. There she is.
There we are.
Okay. So let me just see participants. Okay.
Doggone it.
A few people still coming in.
I am not co-host, John, just so you know, because I'm on the other computer.
I think you're co-host. I said it doesn't have an option to make it. It says I can make you host, but not co-host. So I think you are. Why don't you try unmuting Bruce? See whether that works.
He's not gonna want to unmute. I'll have to go over there and tell him.
Okay, we'll just get going.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome Hammond North. It's July 1st, 6:06 p.m. A few technical difficulties, so apologies for the delay. It's a special board meeting. So the roll call: Gil Patton,
Here.
Tracy Smiley,
Here.
Tim Fritz,
Here.
Jan Welch.
Here.
Okay, with myself, that's 5 for a quorum. Chris Conti can't be on the call, and neither can Randy Vaughn. All right. These which are enabled, and that comments should be on the matters at hand, and would like to limit, as I've mentioned a few times before, questions and statements to 2 to 3 questions of statement without extensive dialogue. With that, the first item I have, and I apologize, but my screen just went blank. There we go. Okay. Would be the delinquency reports, which I think everybody got a one call on. Basically, what happened was that in early June, we were asked by the Finney Law Firm for Julie Gugino for the petition action, that the petition action, if you've read the extensive long petition action itself, it goes through not just all the owners, plaintiffs and defendants, but also lists all the banks that hold a mortgage. And in the body of each owner, it may list potential other debts that are owed. The court views the arrears as a debt that's owed by individual plaintiffs or defendants, and they ask for that report. It then is a public document, and it was seen and downloaded, I believe, by some owners, which we were surprised about, but that is the law. We went back and talked to Julie. We tried to see if we could get a report loaded up that did not have personal identifiers, units, or owners. We were told, no, we had to have the report with at least the units, maybe not the owners, because the owner of a particular unit may change from report to another one. So that was a discussion we had, I believe, Monday. And we also noticed, Tracy noticed, that the report had a number of deficiencies and inaccuracies. And so with 180 units, things change over time. And so we have now uploaded, I believe, as of yesterday, I updated report, which had corrected some of those discrepancies. That is, I think, the basic summary of what's going on. Any board members want to comment on it?
John?
Gil, then Tracy.
So are you saying all the discrepancies haven't been fixed yet?
All the discrepancies we're aware of. Well, I'll let Tracy answer that.
Okay.
I'll answer that. So, all what we did was we submitted an updated report to Julie. But also what Julie explained was she is going to request this report, correct me if I'm wrong, John, in August and again later on, just to make sure we have the most up-to-date information as a partition goes on. So then that way the judge will have the most recent information once we get, or if we get to the point of doing the partition. So each month we're going to review the letters, we're going to review the lien statuses, we're going to review all those like we've been doing over the time of being on the board. And then we'll make those necessary changes and submit each time Julie requests it.
Other questions from the board members? All right, if owners want to raise the electronic hand to ask questions about this. Okay, well, seeing none, the other item that I'd like to review is what the lien policy is. And there is a lien policy that was published by the previous board, I believe it on October of 2023, and that's on the website. In the fall of 25, we were going through the liens, and actually some owners got lien papers, but they weren't filed with the court. And looking over them, it was not in a orderly manner. And clearly the number of liens that we had to file, we had to make a decision on what order it should be in. So there was a policy adopted in the fall, and that is also on the website. So there were a number of points. One, we went by the highest, the person who owed the arrears the most. We felt that was the most important to make sure we preserve. And if there is a legal settlement, that the people have the liens that are filed come a priority. I believe I'm learning through this, it's the taxes, it's the mortgages, and then we file a lien that would be next. So fast forward to January. The other one I should say is that part of that policy, which actually was the policy of the previous board, was that if an owner was making regular payments, which would be on a year, 1 year, they could pay off the debt, meaning they pay 1/12 of what their arrears are, and each month, then by the end of 12 months, they'll have paid off their arrears. And so some people said they would do that. Quite frankly, some people made one payment and that was it. And some people did keep it up, and some people kept it up and not quite the way. I mean, there are many particulars, and we're not going to go into the names of those particular people. Then there was the various PSAs we were involved with, and I didn't quite honestly check where people were until June. And we had said anybody over $3,000, we would place a lien on it. And some people were in $2,000 to $3,000 that area. They crept up. And so there are papers that we asked on, I think, 5 owners that we've asked Finney to draw up the lien papers, and I'll be signing those on Monday. I'm out of the city right now. So that's basically the lien policy. Any other board comments on that? Okay, then Jan, can you unmute Patty? If you can't, then I can do it.
Go ahead.
I think
Okay. You did. You did.
Okay. I was having difficulty pulling up Zoom, so I was unable to raise my hand.
Patty?
You can't hear me?
Well,
We
it
can
was
hear
very
you.
faint. Could you begin again?
Yes. I apologize. I was having issues pulling up Zoom on my monitor, so I was unable to raise my hand when you asked about the first topic you brought up.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Thank you. Your question was, are there any questions? My comment was, we haven't had enough time to review what was most recently posted. But from what I can see, just skimming through here, our treasurer is still over $11,000 delinquent.
Again,
I'll take.
we're,
I'll, oh,
okay.
Go ahead, John.
We're not going to get into particular cases, but the report that was originally published has some inaccuracies. There were payments made before that report was generated, and that was one of a few corrections that we corrected.
I apologize, John. I'm talking about the one that was just posted on 7/1. She still shows
Okay.
delinquent over 11,000.
So Patty, even though that's my personal business, I will tell you that is not true. So please keep your comments not to be personal or reach out to me separately. But that is not accurate. I do not owe a balance. So that is not accurate.
Yeah, I don't own a balance either, but I can say this, if you don't mind, Tracy, you are the treasurer. And that is extreme concern about your delinquencies.
Okay, Patty.
We're not going to discuss that on here, are we?
Yeah, that's really not the topic.
No, we're not. I just want to put a little disclaimer out there. What's unfortunate with actually submitting this public information is individuals taking it upon themselves to spread a narrative that they're not privy to. So that is unfortunate when we're working towards, relieving the owners and trying to make sure the owners are in a better financial situation. So again, not mentioning any personal information. I think that owners who do pull those reports keep the reports to themselves. I believe we sent something out about that, and not have these type of rhetoric conversations without facts.
It's public information. Will you consider integrity and step down?
Like I said, Patty, let's move on.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, Patty, I really think that's a separate question.
That is not correct information. Let's move on.
Patty, did you have another question about the general release of the report or the lien policy?
I do. When you and I spoke about this on Monday, you said that you've known she's been delinquent for 8 months.
Tracy, I'm sorry. Patty, my apologies. Patty, you're going.
Please mute her.
Doesn't land on your tongues.
It's hard to.
Please mute her.
Please step down.
Please be mature.
That's not the topic. I'm sorry.
Please be mature.
Patty, I muted you. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about that at another time, but that's not the topic that we're talking about right now.
Patty can reach out to me directly.
Gil?
I don't know your address, or I would have, but it seems like never reaches
I'll send it to you.
Dan, can you tell whether owners can unmute themselves? Okay.
I don't think so, but.
Okay, John?
Yeah, so this has nothing to, I'm just curious when you, a couple questions. Number one, can you post a full lien policy on the web doc in one place so we see it holistically? Because it is complex and it is confusing with what you said. I mean, I think you know what you're saying there, but I'm not sure everyone's following it, and reading it would be very helpful. As far as the report goes, I've heard that we said that this one was incorrect and the new one's incorrect, and it's been filed with courts, which is scary because you're signing affidavits. So I guess what's the question? Why are we having so much errors with the report? And then why, how do we get this correct with the correct filing? And number two, it is public information. And, it is what it is. When you're officer, you sort of give up that. But that's all that needs to be said. Nothing else. I'm not naming names. I just want to know why we have such errors with it.
I would say in a nutshell, anybody does finances, when you consider we have 180 units, it changes every month in terms of a fee being applied. It changes every month as a payment. When is it, like I have often talked to other board members and Greg, and a check has been sent. But the question is it clear? So how you pose the question, you get a different answer. So it's a complex moving target and we have to do better. And I'm trying to be more systematic about that. Gil?
So I'm a little confused. Excuse me. I asked the question before if we knew there were issues with the report and they had been corrected. And I thought it was said that there were no more issues with the report that was given to the court. Now I'm hearing that that report is not accurate. Help me here.
Well, I mean, I would say, because I worked with Tracy going over the report, I believe the one comment people said was corrected. So I'm surprised when Patty said that it's still incorrect. I'll go back and we'll look at that. To the best of my knowledge, and I signed the first affidavit, I thought it was accurate. We look at it, we examine it, we think it's accurate. The problems that I know that we had in a number of areas have been corrected.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that there isn't absolute certainty that there couldn't be another error, but right now I think it's accurate.
We'll go back. I'll go back and take a look at it too, John, to see if it's
Okay. The other one is that realize that what we looked at was accurate. What I have not done since yesterday or day before when it was posted is whether what was actually posted was what we went over. I mean, there are many steps in making sure it's accurate, and we have to make sure it is.
Well, if somebody's showing 11,000 delinquent, you would think she would make sure that, you know, it's accurate before it gets reposted as an accurate document.
We went over it. Believe me, we spent hours going over it and looking at it a number of times. Any other board members have a comment on this? Okay.
Wanted to make a quick comment. I find if I push my space bar, I get unmuted, and that might be something you'd want to tend to.
Oh, thank you very much. Bear with me one moment. Let me.
Did we lose Jan?
No, we switched again.
Oh, there we go.
Sorry, but I'm not, anyway. I'm having unstable internet, and so Bruce and I are switching computers when one is working better than the other. Sorry.
Yeah, the error there on unmuting was that the button for unmuting themselves was not pushed. So that was an error on our part. All right, I think we should move ahead. The next topic, which is the building and insurance that we have in directors and officers, and that'd be Gil.
Okay, so we do have insurance. We even had the check passed to the insurance company today. So we have insurance starting July 1st through June 30th, 27. The property insurance, the first 10 million is from Lexington Insurance Company, and it has a $500,000 deductible, which is $500,000 less than last year. And that's at a cost of, excuse me, my throat's giving me a problem here, $287,992. That's substantially less than last year. We also have a $5 million second layer that is from Kinsale Insurance Company. There's no deductible with that, of course. That cost us another $69,218. And then we had also got a general liability insurance from Cincinnati Specialty Underwriters Insurance Company. That's a coverage. It's broken up into several pieces. It's $1 million for each occurrence. It's $1 million for personal and advertising injury, $2 million general aggregate, $2 million products, dash completed operations aggregate, 100,000 for damage to premises rented to you and including medical payments with deductibles of $500 per claim bodily injury and $500 per claim property damage at a total cost of $6,820. And then we also have D&O, or Directors and Officers Insurance. That's going to come from Great American Insurance Company. That's going to cost $2,950. And then there's a crime coverage from Cincinnati Insurance Company for $750,000 with a $10,000 deductible. And that's a cost of $838. All of those insurance coverages combined total $367,618. And I believe just the property damage or property insurance last year was 500 and just short of $540,000. So we have all of these insurances for under 400,000, and it's in place.
That is
Thanks,
awesome.
Gil.
That's a savings that was well needed. Thanks, Gil.
Any other comments?
We got her done.
That's right.
Yes. Jan?
So is the savings, it's not that much, but is that something the finance committee could discuss? What to do with that savings? Or is that worth that?
Yeah, we could definitely put it on the agenda because that is up a little bit over 200. I think we had 680 in the budget this upcoming year, and it's 380. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But wasn't that in the budget, not from the income, but there was in a line item that the insurance would pay for that?
Right.
So it's really not going to change the budget. What it does mean is $200,000 less that we're spending, which is then available at the final distribution of everything.
Right.
Good point.
So it'll go back into the pool. But we can talk through that.
Any other board comments? Can we unmute John?
He lowered his hand.
Oh. John, raise your hand again if you have a comment on that. Okay, can we unmute John?
No comment, John. You just covered it. That was all. So I didn't need to talk. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No other questions? Then I think we're going to have a summary of the distribution of funds that we're considering. Tracy?
Yes, and I just want to point out that one call went out earlier today regarding the distributions of funds process. So there's document attached in there as well. Thank you, Jan, for pulling all of that together. I am going to talk through a high-level reserve payout and scenarios. I'm going to request to share my screen, John.
Okay.
There we go. Can everyone see an Excel document?
Yes.
Yes.
I see it.
Okay, perfect. So what this is, can you see it okay, or do I need to blow it up?
Okay.
A little bit larger, but everybody can enlarge it on their screen.
Let me try to blow it up a tad. Whoops. How's that? Is that better?
Cut the
Sure.
edge off.
Okay. So what we drafted was a high-level reserve payout scenario as well as a high-level sale of the building scenario. So what I did was I made a step 1 and a step 2. We've received a lot of questions about what that would look like. And so we pulled this together to show what the potential process will be with certain scenarios. So the first thing we did is in this yellow box here, we put an estimate in of approximately $11 million. We haven't voted on this yet, but I just use this as a gauge so owners can see what that payout would be. The payout below that is for an owner with a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and a penthouse, which is based upon the percentage of ownership or the average for each unit. What I then did was added a column for mortgage, HOA fees, what the owner will receive in proceeds, and any balances remaining. So the first scenario that we drafted was an owner with 1 bedroom is supposed to receive $22,429 from the distribution. If that owner owes $50,000 in a mortgage, they would still owe $27,571 towards that mortgage because they did not have enough to pay it off. If that owner owed $5,000 in HOA delinquencies, the owner would still owe $5,000 to the HOA fee, and that means the owner will not get any proceeds. The second scenario is for a 2-bedroom. They will receive a $52,704. In this scenario, they don't have a mortgage. They do owe $30,000 in HOA delinquencies. Once they pay that off, they will receive a check of $22,704. In this scenario, for a 3-bedroom, the owner will get $76,555. If that owner has a $100,000 mortgage and $20,000 in back fees, the owner will not get any proceeds from the distribution, but will still owe that remaining balance. And in this case, for an owner with a penthouse, the proceeds will be $104,220. And if they don't own a mortgage and don't owe HOA fees, they would get that full distribution amount. So these are the 4 scenarios drafted to reflect what that process would be and how, if an owner's payout is less than what they owe, they still will have those remaining balances left. And if they don't have anything that they owe from a mortgage, taxes, or HOA, then that is the proceeds that the owner will receive, the full amount.
Tracy, can we pause there for questions just on step 1, or do you want to go to step 2?
Step 2 may answer some of the questions that we received. So let me do that, and then we can have an open conversation. Okay. So in step 2, step 2 is the high-level estimate of the sale of the building. So what I did here was we have $15.5 million in reserves. If we paid out $11 million, I have calculated here the remaining reserves that we will have left. So we've saved some behind, and now we're going to pay out the full remaining of reserves. So in this amount, what I did was I actually subtracted another year's worth of insurance just in case. And I've also subtracted about $80,000 of legal fees just in case. So that leaves $4,020,000 of remaining reserves. And if the building sells for $12 million, the total distribution in step 2 will be $16,020,000. If we think about those same owner scenarios under step 1, where that owner still owed $27,051 from the mortgage and they still owe $5,000 on their HOA fees, when the owner receives their $32,655, those amounts will still be deducted, and then they will get, in this scenario, $94 check back to them. Same for this owner. So in this scenario, the owner would get $76,756, but they did not have any remaining balances here, so they will get their full amount. An owner with a 3-bedroom in that scenario still owed $23,445 for their mortgage, and they still owe $20,000 in HOA fees on step 1. They would still have to pay those here, but then they will receive the remaining balance of $68,046. And then the scenario for the penthouse is for this 16 million, that owner would get $151,781. They did not owe any remaining balances on a mortgage or HOA fees, so they would get that full amount. I know that's a lot to follow, but what I will do is PDF this and put that out on the site.
Thank you, Tracy. Gil, you had your hand up earlier. Do you have a question?
Yeah, just in our email, I believe today about payout, we discussed the first priority being taxes, which doesn't show here. But just so everybody is aware that taxes come before the mortgage. So if those few people who might owe back taxes, that would be factored in, but it's still going to work out the same as what Tracy has here. It's just going to be another deduction that comes out of whatever your payout is. And I would assume that that would get paid off probably in the step one and wouldn't be a part of step two.
Correct. And when we talked about the timing of the distribution, we did discuss waiting to after this next tax bill comes out, which I believe is either the 15th or the 20th, to ensure that owners have the ability to get the bill and potentially pay that bill. And then therefore we, that's less we'd have to remove from the calculation of the distribution. So.
Yeah, Gil?
And just on those dates, it's July 17th that they're due, and we're waiting until the 24th to make sure that the county has had time to process, so that when they start doing the title searches, it'll show whether or not they owe any taxes.
Right. And from this, I can say from this, when looking at mortgages and our HOA fees, this will be a significant opportunity for owners to pay down mortgages and back fees. If we were to even, move towards distributing $11 million, then that would be a significant amount in back delinquency fees coming back to the HOA, which would be helpful.
Okay, I can't see Jan.
Yeah.
But okay, then, no question, Gil, no, yes?
One more. And I see we've got on step two, we have the remaining reserves and the sale of the building in there. But there is a potential, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the remaining reserves could move us into a step three if we can't do that at the time of the sale of the building because of ongoing litigation. Correct?
Right.
I think that's correct.
So what I did in this number, Gil, I removed approximately $80,000 for legal expenses for if we go into 2027 for legal expenses associated either with the lawsuit or with the partition, just as an estimate. But yes, there will have to be something held back. So there's 400,000 in insurance I held back and another 80,000 for legal expenses, just as an estimate. We don't know what that's going to be.
But we would also have to hold back, potential settlement dollars.
Right.
Correct.
So the $80,000 covers the legal expense. It doesn't cover the potential liability in the suit.
Correct.
Do we
Gil?
have any idea on what these payouts are going to cost us each time, approximately?
So the payout of the distribution we're talking about to start in July, there was an estimate of between $18,000 to $30,000. And that is for the title reviews, that is for the distributions of the checks. They will get the mortgage balances from the banks. They would write up a document for each owner to say, here is how much is being distributed, or how much is due for you to be distributed. Here's how much we pay towards mortgage company. Here's how much we pay the HOA delinquencies, and here's the remaining balance. So they will produce a document like that so each owner can see that. and then all the mailing of all the checks.
Shall we stop the screen share?
Oh, yes.
And then Tracy, on step 2, we would see similar costs
On
or
step
more or
2,
less.
so on step 2, as part of the closing, there are similar costs. So the title company will handle that as part of the closing and sale of the building.
And then if we have to go to a step 3, again, we'll have similar costs.
If we have to go to a step 3 after the sale of the building, it will be very minimal. I believe that's something we could handle in-house. It would just be any remaining dollars left in either operating cash or CDs, and any reserve amounts that will be left once we are able to dissolve the HOA.
But we're still going to have to do the mortgage and the HOA delinquencies as
Mhm.
part of that process.
Yes,
And there won't be any titles that we'll have to do.
right.
So
We
that
just
will
have
be
However,
done and gone.
I've looked at the numbers and I think there are at least 20 individuals with their mortgage through step 1 through distribution of funds. If we adopt that at least 20 or 25 owners will have their mortgage paid off.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's down to 18 now. The report that I have is down to 18. So once we get an updated one, I'm sure it'll be less than that.
And the other thing I should note is that I believe in this plan, a good number of the people in arrears who are going to have that, basically they will be paid up because that money essentially would come back to the organization and they wouldn't be in arrears.
And then that money obviously would be redistributed at the end.
Exactly. Okay. Any other board comments? I assume Lynn Saul, you had your hand up. It's Gil.
Something that just came to mind here. So if we get through step 1 and step 2, now we just have an association without property. I'm assuming, I can't say that. I don't know. What are we going to do about HOA fees? Are we going to reduce them? We probably can't eliminate them because we're going to have ongoing costs. I guess something we're going to have to talk through.
It is something we would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah.
The only way that we can get through step 2 is if Mike Stacy or somebody else buys the building. We won't owe the building anymore.
I agree, but I'm just saying, then if we just have an association, we don't have property. Do we still have assessments, monthly fees?
It's a good question. If
Reassess.
the question would be, do we have expenses? Do we have to keep up? And can we pay those expenses from the reserves we have left? If we can estimate we can pay them from the reserve we have left, then I don't believe we'll have to cross the bridge when we get to it. We would have fees. On the other hand, if we think that for one reason or another, we don't want to use reserves or can't use reserves, expenses are high, we expect to have to pay money on something, then there may be fees. But when we sell the building, hopefully that'll be it for fees.
Right. And the factor of that is litigation. If we haven't gotten through the lawsuit, that will impede on us being able to completely dissolve the HOA.
But there shouldn't be any operating expenses other than
legal fees, right?
We'll have to figure out who's going to manage that because town will probably be out of the picture.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
We may need to get an accountant to handle that or somebody.
And we may hand over to Blue or somebody.
Yeah. Might be title.
Okay. I'd like to call on the owners. Can we unmute Steve Kaufman? The owners who haven't asked questions yet.
Yes.
Oh, you were unmuted and muted again.
How about now?
You're good.
Yes.
Okay. I've sent a couple emails to the board, and I'd like to get a response here about an issue that I think is important to all the owners about these payments. I happen to be in a good position as far as not owning a mortgage or anything like that. So going to be quite a lot of money coming in. And my daughter, who works in finance, suggested I might have to pay income tax on that even before selling the unit. And I do think that the people need to have some idea of these possible implications. And I'd like the board to deal with that over the next couple of weeks, if possible.
I think internally we've talked about that. And I think the main thing is that's a personal tax situation that you should get your attorney to look at it. Unofficially, and I'm not giving legal advice, it all depends on how much money you get. And unofficially, if the amount you get is significantly less than what you paid for the unit, it's unlikely that you'd pay taxes on that. But you'd have to talk to your attorney.
CPA.
Thank you.
Sure, Steve. Can we unmute Sally?
To get it?
Not yet.
There we go.
There we go.
So the board has not voted on this yet, right?
Right.
So are you going to be sending out a one call when you have made your decision?
I believe that we are going to make the decision soon. I think that decision should be made in public. So it should be made at a public board meeting.
Okay, when you say soon, how soon are we talking about?
I'd say 1 to 2 weeks.
Didn't we just discuss that?
Well, we talked about doing it in conjunction with the tax date. So
Right.
it's going to be somewhere around,
Yeah.
second or third week of July.
Right.
That's the date at which you would put things in process. When is the board going to approve going ahead? Have you already done that?
No.
No, that's what we're saying. We will make the approval within two or 3 weeks.
Okay,
And then you're right, the process will begin immediately after we make the recommendation.
and you're fairly certain you're going to promote this, am I correct? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but this is a really important piece of information. It matters a lot for some of us.
We anticipate that we will have a vote.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can you unmute Patty? And Patty, please, on this comment should be on this distribution plan. Patty, go ahead. Patty, you're unmuted.
Hear me? Can you not hear me?
I didn't
No,
hear
we
you
hear you.
before.
Okay, with mortgages that have taxes escrowed, how will that appear in the, when they do the searches for taxes? I mean, how will it show that taxes are being paid and that they are current if it's getting
It's a
paid?
good question, and I don't think we have an answer for that. I think that's a very important question, but I think your bank or attorney would have to answer that.
They
Well,
do
I
this all the time, so they must be away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not the one doing the search or,
Right.
Well,
I think we asked this about on the phone call last week, and they said it's basically going to be like a real estate closing. You're going to do the real estate closing, and then if your taxes have been escrowed, you're going to get a check at closing for the escrow.
okay. Now, the check that gets cut to the mortgage, will my name be on it also? I mean, I would like to be the one to take it to the bank after all I've paid on it for 20 years.
that is, go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Tracy.
No, that is what we discussed. Also have the owner's name on it as well. And we could talk about logistics. We were going to send the checks to the mortgage company, but we can definitely talk about if that's something we can do, Patty.
Okay, thank you.
We have to make sure that they get where they need to be in 100% of the cases.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you can, I'm not a board member. You can trust me. I will pay off my mortgage. Thanks, Jan.
No, I know you would, Patty. I know you would. But we have to have a system with this.
Mhm.
That's why you would make the check out to both parties as an and. Patty Griffith and US Bank. And. So we would both have to sign. Right?
We understand, yes. All right, can we unmute John Webb? Or John, you have your hand down.
No, I just did that by accident. So the tax, I think where people are going with that is you're not paying it all at once with the unit being sold. And I think there's this interpretation that is it considered a part of the sale or actually your income as a payout? And that's something, you're right, you have to discuss it, but I think that's a concern. The other question before I go with my statement or comment was we need to know how long it will take. And my concerns with it is I think it's a great thing to do if we can pull it off. I really do. But I worry about if we do pay it out, what assurances do we have that people will continue to pay their dues? And, and we haven't reduced that. And then if that keeps on growing, what's the amount? The other thing is if Mike's sale goes through, we have nothing to worry about. We're all in great shape and this is a wonderful thing and we'll go. But we don't have a crystal ball. And I think about, I'm dating myself, but many of y'all remember this too. In 2008, nobody saw that coming. And all of a sudden, nothing was valued. What if we had that within the 2 years it takes a partition and then everybody's lost everything? We'll be paying, we will have lost the people that had delinquencies will walk away with this. We'll all be hurt. And that's my concern is that we don't have the crystal ball and we're talking about amounts, but even we don't have a crystal ball to do that. So I just think some more analysis needs to be done to really look at that and taking that into consideration so that it does work for everybody to get paid out and that we're also protecting the building. That's my only ask. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, John. Any other questions or comments from owners? I think that was our last item, unless there's anything else any board member wants to bring up. All right, so a motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn to executive
From-
session.
from
I
Tim,
second.
second of Jan. All those in favor? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.